Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into something truly fascinating and honestly a little bit ironic. We're unpacking a piece of source material from the channel J-Culture, and it presents itself almost like a cautionary tale. It's literally framed around reasons why you should absolutely not marry a Japanese woman. But, as we start digging into the actual data and the societal norms they bring up, there's a brilliant twist waiting for us. We're going to use this source to take a really deep dive into Japanese dating culture, the overall societal temperament, and the specific aesthetics that shape modern romance over there. So whether you're totally new to cross-cultural studies or you already know a ton about global relationship dynamics, you are going to find the contrast between the way this is framed and the actual facts incredibly engaging. Let's decode what's really going on here.
So think about this for a second. Why exactly are foreign men warned against marrying Japanese women? It's a pretty provocative premise, isn't it? I mean, when you hear the word warning, your brain naturally jumps to red flags. You expect something deeply problematic. But our source material actually breaks these so-called warnings down into three highly specific cultural claims: intimacy and dating norms, deeply ingrained cleanliness standards, and specific aesthetic preferences. We're going to break down those exact three claims right now using the data. And as we go through this explainer together, I really want you to keep this one central question in the back of your mind. Are these warnings actually pointing out negative traits, or are they just highlighting a really profound cultural difference?
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, Intimacy and Dating Culture, and the reality of modern romance in Japan.
Okay, we are starting off with some hard sociological data, because when we talk about cross-cultural relationships, intimacy is usually where you see the biggest disconnects. The source points to surveys finding that almost half, literally nearly 50% of Japanese single adults under the age of 35 have never had intimate experience. Just let that sink in for a moment. If you're coming from a Western dating culture where casual intimacy is often culturally normalized pretty early on, this data point is a massive paradigm shift. As the numbers show us here, we aren't just talking about a fringe minority. This is half of an entire demographic under 35.
Now, this statistic doesn't just exist in a vacuum, right? It is a direct reflection of the broader societal temperament when it comes to dating. People in Japan tend to be more shy and highly reserved, but most importantly, they're exceptionally serious about relationships. So that lack of intimate experience we were just talking about, it isn't necessarily about a lack of desire at all. It's actually tied to a culture that prioritizes a highly serious framework over casual romantic encounters. If you're navigating this dating landscape, you've got to realize you are engaging with a completely different set of societal rules.
Moving right along to Section 2, the cleanliness standard, from the classroom to daily life.
So, we're shifting gears now from internal intimacy norms to strict, highly visible external expectations in society. In Japan, children are raised to be extremely clean. The source specifically highlights this amazing fact: kids literally clean their own classrooms and even their own bathrooms at school. They aren't relying on a massive janitorial staff to come in after hours. No way! That responsibility is placed squarely on the students from a very, very young age. And because of that early childhood foundation, cleanliness becomes this deeply ingrained part of daily life once they become adults. It's a lifelong habit forged early. We're not just talking about a preference for a tidy room. It is a fundamental societal value.
And the source sums up the friction an outsider might face absolutely perfectly. They say, if you are messy, good luck. It's blunt, kind of funny, but honestly, highly accurate. If you haven't been through that pipeline, like if you didn't grow up scrubbing your school bathroom and internalizing those pristine standards, you're going to face a severe culture clash. So the warning here isn't that cleanliness is bad. It's just that a messy partner is going to struggle deeply to integrate into that lifestyle.
And that brings us to Section 3, aesthetics, and the appeal of the cute style.
We've talked about internal norms, we've talked about domestic habits, but external presentation deeply impacts cross-cultural attraction too. So what does the popular Japanese aesthetic actually look like? Well, the source describes a softer, cute style that really emphasizes a feminine presentation, favoring a natural look and a youthful appearance. Just contrast that mentally for a second with the aesthetics that are popular in a lot of Western countries, which might prioritize bold, sharp, or really highly stylized looks. According to our source material, this specific aesthetic package in Japan is incredibly attractive to a lot of foreign men, creating a really distinct visual draw on the global dating stage.
And guys, this brings us to the ultimate payoff. It's a massive bait and switch where the so-called warnings become the exact reason foreign men romanticize Japan. This is the grand irony we've been building toward this whole time. Think back to the very beginning. The source framed these three traits as reasons not to marry a Japanese woman. But look at what those traits actually are: a deeply serious approach to intimacy, an impeccably high standard of domestic cleanliness, and a soft, feminine aesthetic.
While the source slaps a warning label on these, the reality is that these are the exact qualities fueling the romanticization of Japan. The red flags are literally a checklist of highly sought-after traits. Which leaves us with this final provocative thought to ponder. Are these cultural warnings actually the exact blueprint for why Japan is so deeply romanticized? It completely reframes how we consume media about cross-cultural dating, doesn't it? What one person calls a hurdle, like shyness or intense cleaning habits, another person sees as the ultimate ideal. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep asking great questions about the media you consume, and I'll catch you in the next one.